Like, it's my favorite movie.
But it, like, considering how, like, I would say that almost every single book is better than a movie, just because they're able to flesh things out a lot more.
There's no book that's better than the movie.
Yeah, I can't really.
I think we've talked about that before on the podcast.
Yeah, we probably did. I can't really think of any.
No. I mean, unless the book really sucked and the movie was like, I'm about to crush it, which I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
I don't have a mic. I was going to say Fight Club.
Oh, there's a book about Fight Club? Oh,
really?
Like, this movie's better.
Dang.
that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Fight Club is probably one of the maybe top, like, 100, top 200, 500, 1,000, top 1,000 maybe.
You keep digging around. How bad do you think Fight Club is?
Well, because there's so many.
What vendetta do you have against Fight Club?
I just thought about every other movie, and I was like, well, maybe it's a little better than that.
You said 100, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Like, no. I cannot think of 1,000 movies that are better than Fight Club. No, you cannot. Unless you really hate Fight Club.
Well, okay, I'd say top 5. Top 500.
500, that's still a lot.
Okay.
At least still, like maybe like 30 or 40.
You think? Maybe?
It's pretty good. It's widely known to be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think I can think of some other movies.
I'm sure you could, but you can't. I challenge you after this podcast. Your homework for after the podcast is to name me 1,000 movies that are better than Fight Club.
No. Top 500. 500.
Okay, 500.
I
That's
think,
an equally impossible task.
I think I can think of 499 movies.
I want the Google Doc on my desk by 5 p.m. today.
Okay, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is not better than Fight Club.
Hey, now.
It's not.
Okay, you got me.
Fight Club is a masterpiece.
Have you not seen Adam Sandler in action?
Don't make this case. Don't make this. You'll be destroyed.
Avatar 2. Okay, to be honest, it was. Should we talk about it?
We can talk about Avatar. No, I think it was a good movie. It's not better than Fight Club. I would much rather watch Fight Club right now than Avatar 2.
Then again, Avatar 2 has only been out for a little bit, and we've only had a little bit of exposure to it.
This is fair, but I mean, I've only seen Fight Club like maybe twice.
I've never seen Fight Club.
Oh, well then, yeah. How was your week this week, Isaiah? After you sufficiently pissed me off with this Fight Club nonsense.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Good.
I'm just glad I got to end the week with you guys. Having a pod right now.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
What about you, man? How was your week?
It was good. We haven't updated since the holidays because we had a little bit of a holiday hiatus. Just taking a little well-earned break with our families and friends, and glad to be back doing this and making the pod. But yeah, holidays were great. Got to almost didn't have a Christmas. I wanted to say this for the podcast. The story of how Matt almost didn't have a Christmas. I know we're going full Dr. Seuss with this, but that's all right. But yeah, I
play like some whimsical music.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Play the Edward Scissorhands theme.
Yeah, let's get
I actually saw that movie for the first time over Christmas. Yeah, it's weird, but it's really cute. Anyways,
Is it a love story?
Yeah,
interesting.
It's cute. It's weird, but it's cute.
How does he? Never mind.
No, what's up?
How does he wipe?
It's a really good question.
Well, to be honest, I think I haven't. I think I
pizzazz.
Or maybe he uses one of those like things that just like flush you out.
Oh, he probably has a bidet.
Yes, bidet.
Yeah, it probably has a bidet. If anybody's got a bidet, 100%. Edward Scissorhands has a bidet.
Well, either him
for his own health.
Yeah, him or like the flaming torch, or the hot. What's his name again?
Human Torch.
The Human Torch.
He can turn that off though, so he can poop.
That's right. That's right.
Or he has flaming poops and he has to deal with it.
Okay, all right.
Honestly, that's probably he just dropping flaming
dropping
bombs.
Man, that's lit.
He's just rolling by.
That's hot. That's some hot content.
That's hot.
That's hot. That's hot. Who said that? That was Will Smith. Yeah.
Will Smith.
But I'm sorry.
I almost didn't have a Christmas. it's not that interesting of a story. I just almost had to work for the entirety of the day during Christmas and Christmas Eve, but I managed to get off the day before Christmas Eve, and it was good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I probably could have
I'm
made
so
that more
glad.
interesting, but yeah. It was good. I had a really great Christmas because of it, and in all sincerity, it was God, because throughout the entire time I was like, y'all, please pray. I want to be able to have Christmas with my family. I want to be able to have this Christmas, because if this job makes me not be able to have a Christmas, I don't know how long I'm going to be working in this job, because I'm not going to keep missing that stuff. I almost missed another family get-together that we had yesterday because of my job.
That's right.
And I'm like, I don't feel like sacrificing, family time and memories with my family is going to be worth that. So I don't know. But ultimately, it happens rarely enough to where it's fine.
A rewind time. We'll start right there.
But yeah, no, I think that just once like me and Yezrith settle down, have a few little Maddies and Yezriths together, or just once I'm married to her, I'll probably have to not be working there. Which, I mean, I don't know how long I'll be staying with them, but regardless, right now the job is a blessing, and God is still in control and is allowing me to have these times with His family. And ultimately, I think it's mostly a exercise in trust.
Yeah.
Of just being like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
You have no control over whether you are going to work during this period of time or whether you aren't, and you're just going to have to trust me that if you're supposed to be there, you're going to be there. So it's taught me trust. So that's what matters.
Well, dude, man, I'm just so glad that it just worked out for you, man, and that you were able to have off on those really important days.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a real blessing. Karis, holidays, how were they? Good.
All right.
You can speak through me. Karis doesn't want to talk. Karis doesn't have a mic today because he chose not to. He was like, I don't want to participate today.
Could you use the iPhone mic?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yes, because it's real good. Over.
Oh my god.
Check, Roger. No.
Yeah, it was good. Christmas was good.
Yours is good. All
Did you get
right.
anything good? Okay. That's all we're going to get from Karis today. That's our update from Karis. All right. So we've got topics because that's what we do here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So who wants to present first? Oh, yeah, we do the number generator to see who presents first. Is that the thing that we do, or do we just decide?
Let's do that
It
because
was the voting thing. That's when.
No, we'll still vote on the topic, but I'm like, who presents their topic first?
wait, I thought we did it so that
This guy. That's 2 votes for Isaiah.
wait, what?
You're presenting first.
Okay. But I was just thinking perhaps we could just do the voting thing.
We just voted.
Wait. And then
It was unanimous, except you.
And then we could say for example, we do the number generator. Then whoever picks then they'll say their topic, because I don't want to say mine because it's a pretty good one, and then
I don't want to say mine. It's a pretty good one.
and then we don't pick it. Then I would be like, dang, I kind of want to talk about that for maybe another future time.
Well, no, we can still talk about it. We can just be like, you remember that thing? I'm pitching it again. And you just have to pitch it better next time, so we want to do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
Hit us with the hard pitch. Sell me.
Me and Matt were at El Patron yesterday.
I already know the topic. You don't have to sell me.
Having some Mexican food, celebrating Emily and her accomplishments. And I went into the bathroom, and something didn't rub me the right way. And I was like, why do I not want to be in here right now? And I realized I didn't feel comfortable in that bathroom. And so what do? I text Matt. I say, Matt, he was right there, but I couldn't say this out loud in front of the family. I was like, Matt, do you pick and choose where you urinate? And I
said absolutely.
And so with that, I told him, I was like, I believe that there are optimal places in which I like to use the bathroom. And that is my topic. Thank you.
That's fair. We were just giving
my
little
topic
balls
is
to fidget with because I was fidgeting with my cup.
No.
I thought that's why.
No, I just
Oh,
really wanted to get it.
okay. I was fidgeting with my cup. And I thought you were like, it's making sound. Play with this.
No.
And I was like, I feel like a 5-year-old, but I'm happy.
Shut the door.
Oh, okay.
So my topic is, which bathroom is the best? Who has the best bathroom?
Bathroom off.
Bath off.
Bath off 2023.
It is
The Great British Bath Off.
British bath off.
The Great British Bath Off. Yeah, that's pretty freaking good. I wouldn't mind talking about that. I've got things to say. We talked about that last night.
Yeah, we had, and I thought about a lot more things after that.
Same.
That goes along with that.
Because I kept sitting there and I was like, yeah, I got things to say about this. Frick some of these guys' bathrooms. They gotta know. So yeah, I'm down with the man their bathrooms. Yeah, that's pretty good. So my topic, I actually put a little bit of prep work into this. So if it doesn't get picked, I've wasted good amounts of my time.
How much time?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay. If it was anything more than an hour, I would have.
I sat there and thought about things. I didn't even write any of it down. But I do have a list that I'll be pulling off of. But I wanted to do, because one of our most popular topics, or one of our most popular podcasts we've ever put out, was comic books. So I'm pulling off of that cash cow. And I was going to do comic books part 2. What we would do with that is I have hand selected comic books that I think that you both would enjoy based off of your personalities alone. And you will give me, once I pitch them to you, either a green light or a red light.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
That's it.
All right.
Karis, do you have a topic? No? Okay, Karis doesn't have a topic.
So
you just got to bow out this week. I did prep work.
So are you gonna vote for yourself? Because I would vote for myself.
Karis will be the tiebreaker.
So essentially, Karis will pick. Because I'm voting for myself. And Matt,
I'm gonna vote for myself.
or we could do the number generator.
Number generator, yeah.
And that's why we should have did it in the first place, so that we wouldn't have said our topic.
Well, no, we can still pitch it later and just be like, guys, you remember that topic? Because maybe people will be like, hey, yo, I wanted to hear stuff about that bathroom, or I wanted to hear stuff about that.
Somebody could really be like, I'm so glad they didn't do the bathroom one,
or I'm so glad they didn't do the comic books. I freaking hated that episode. Like, yeah, who knows?
Okay.
Isaiah's 1, I'm 2.
Yeah!
Heck yeah!
It's comic book it is.
Comic book part 2. Y'all ready for that sweet revenue? I don't know why you guys like that comic book episode so much. We looked at that and we were like, holy frick, they're really eating this crap up.
Just in France.
Just in France. Yo, that wee baguette comic book energy. Y'all got French comic books? Probably. Actually, I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I have a friend of ours has a French comic book. I don't know where he got it from. I guess from France. But, yeah, he's got like a version of like Ultimate X-Men that's in French. I was like, ooh. So, all that is to say, I'm going to be presenting, in a brief sort of overview, comic books that I think you both would enjoy. Or I'm going to go individually. I'm going to go Isaiah and then I'm going to go Karis. Or rather, I think vice versa probably better. But regardless, based off of your personalities. So, with all that said, Karis first. You are a man who enjoys Adventure Time. You enjoy cartoony somewhat things. Fun, cartoony somewhat things. But also deep-rooted, like, personal pieces, like drama. Like, you like a good character-driven story.
A man of class.
Like a man of class. But a man who's particular. You're a very particular individual. And you're someone who, if it's not the best, you don't want to waste your time with it. I know this about you. Because anytime I've seen a movie with you, you've been disappointed.
Like Black Adam.
Like Black Adam. Which you were like, I've wasted 2 hours of my life. I mean, I think we all did that day. Let's be honest. Oh, I need to put out an official apology to The Rock. I don't think I did this already. If I did this in a previous podcast, I'm sorry. But I have to put this down. About him singing.
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
He's incredible. I went home and I was listening to him like hitting those country tunes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. Man's got a beautiful voice. I'm sorry, Dwayne. Listen, you've had it rough enough with being kicked out of the entirety of the DCU.
Yeah. Well, didn't he kick himself out?
Wasn't he kind of kicked himself. He was like, James Gunn sucks. And James Gunn's like, okay. He's like, bye. Which, I mean, it's pretty fair.
That's actually kind of how he probably sounded, too.
James Gunn sucks. Yeah, probably. As he's bench pressing 300 pounds.
Not even.
Okay. So, first pick for Karis. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up a list here. Hold on. Fill the silence, Isaiah. This is your job as my co-host.
Oh, okay.
You're doing a great job.
The Sand City wasn't made.
What are you? Singing in the rain.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy of Tea. The wind blew hard and powdered down. Blow, my Billy boys, blow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore to take that whale and go. Soon may the wellermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
I don't want to stop. This is amazing. Let's go, fella.
I don't know the third one.
Frick the comic books. Let's just do shanties.
It is time to go now. Haul away your anchor. Haul away your anchor.
I've never heard this.
It is sailing time.
It is sailing.
No, dude, honestly, I only got into pirate shanties from it was which Assassin's Creed was that? Was Black Flag?
Yeah.
All right.
Great game.
Which Assassin's Creed was the best?
3.
Was
I
that
haven't
the
played enough
one
Assassin's
when
Creed
Connor? Is that Connor? I can see why I'd say that. I had that on the Wii U and it was trash. Well, to be fair, I went back and played it, and I mean, honestly, exploring through America, was actually kind of fire. It was very similar to Red Dead, but not, of course, not as good. I don't know. I think I probably would say I liked Revelations. Assassin's Creed that was my first. That was my baby.
It's understandable.
Matt, are you at a good point? And can I shut up?
Are you at a good point for me to stop talking? Thank you for filling this out.
Of course, I'm good.
The first comic that I'm going to pitch to you, which is the quintessential comic, you've probably heard of it. It's considered one of the best graphic novels ever written. So we're going to start with this is more of a period piece. It's still pretty character driven, but it's just considered some of the best writing in comic books.
Les Mis? I mean, all of the ways, all your descriptions was leading up to Les Mis. So I was like, it's like period piece, drama.
It's not a comic book.
It's not a comic?
No!
What is it, a movie?
It's a musical.
Oh.
Have you seen Les Mis?
Well, no. I just thought I see. There appears to be a lot of things I haven't seen. All right, but so,
You have such strong stances of things you've never seen.
It's comic.
It probably is.
it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot.
Never seen Fight Club, thinks it's in the least 500 movies better than it. Never seen Les Mis, thinks it's a comic book.
No.
Really?
No.
How is it?
I wish I could show you pictures. I can't turn.
Oh, crap.
Oh my gosh.
There is a Les Mis comic book. So that's number one for
awesome.
Karen.
That is awesome.
Oh my
You know, a broken clock is right once, twice a day.
You're not wrong. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
But
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. My pick for you, Karis, is Watchmen. First pick. Have you heard of Watchmen? Okay. So Watchmen, for those of you who don't know, which is very few. Oh my God, it's a manga.
Whoa!
No, that's not real. Is that on Amazon?
I'm buying it. I need to read it. Who's the author?
That's not real. Is it based off the movie or the musical?
It's based off the novel.
There's a novel? I don't know anything about this. Man, wow. Wow, what a turn this
Reached
took.
1 mil.
Hey,
let's
everybody
freaking
congratulate
go.
Karis. You reached 1 million on a skincare Instagram video.
That's awesome, man.
That's great.
I've never seen that.
That's
Was
wild.
that your first mill?
Yeah.
Bro!
Wow, you never forget your first.
Nope, never know.
Now you're the skincare guy. It's what the people want. They're eating that up, man.
You gotta give the people what they want.
You gotta be the people they want. Hence, comic books. Good segue.
Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
Watchmen. So, do you know what Watchmen is, Isaiah?
There's a movie.
There is a movie. The movie is not what the graphic novel is. So Watchmen is basically a period piece about the 60s, I think. I want to make sure. It's basically like Vietnam era. The Cold War is like hitting its peak. There's a lot of talk about the doomsday clock, that it's moving closer to doomsday slowly because of nuclear holocaust being imminent between the U.S. and Russia. And insert in that, superheroes. And there is a subplot where basically, it's not the subplot, it's the comic. But there's a guy named Rorschach who's basically, he's kind of like Batman if he was on steroids and freaking nuts. He's just crazy.
Like mentally?
Yes.
Oh.
Or we don't know if he's crazy. He just is he's like a zealot, if that makes sense. He's very like, I hate crime. Passionate. His famous line is, the people will look up and shout, save us, but I will whisper no. It's Fireline. Fireline. And again, some of the best writing in comic books. It's written by a guy named Alan Moore, who also did like stuff for DC and some stuff for Marvel. He's an extraordinarily prolific writer. He's fantastic. But yeah, it's about who watches the Watchmen, like who is in charge of the superheroes, who keeps check of the superheroes if the superheroes are allowed to run rampant. It's like what it basically ends with, do the ends justify the means? What price do we pay for peace? And it's fantastic.
That sounds pretty good.
It's considered one of the best books ever written, like period.
Because like I would, just like having that to translate to us, it's like, what if you're like driving your brand new Tesla and all of a sudden Superman throws like a building at your car and then he's like, well, I saved the day though.
Exactly. And it's that it will. So I mean, I can spoil Watchmen. It's been out since since like the 70s. So basically, at the end, there's a guy named Ozymandias who is considered the smartest man alive or ever, if that. And the Watchmen, who is like the team of superheroes that's trying to save the world, finds out that Ozymandias is the person. There's been somebody who's been killing superheroes, like old superheroes, old Watchmen, slowly, and Rorschach has been trying to look into it to figure out who's doing this. And it turns out that it was Ozymandias who had hired these people to do it. And it's for the sole purpose of removing the Watchmen to where he can enact a master plan to be able to create long-lasting peace for the entirety of the United States of America and the world by dropping an interdimensional alien onto Manhattan and allowing it to be detonated and killing a billion people, or like a couple billion people in the United States. So he kills dozens, but he gives them a shared enemy. So suddenly Russia and the United States, because they're like, if they can do this in the United States, it has to be destroyed. And Russia and the United States gang up on this alien and peace is restored. But Ozymandias single-handedly creates peace, but destroys billions of lives. So the question is it worth it? And that's kind of the whole horcrux of that comic, is like, is this something that we can live with? And is it something that we can justify for the sake of peace?
So he ends up a lot like he does kill billions of people.
But at the end of the comic, there's peace. There's like peace in Russia. There's peace in the United States. They're suddenly allies. Yeah, it works.
Wow. Dang.
Because they're like, if anything else comes out, if this alien has just suddenly showed up and killed billions, what happens when the next one happens? So they're like, okay, we have to unite and make sure we have a combined front against this issue.
Yeah.
But that's the only alien that's going to drop out of the sky, as far as they know. Because it was done by Ozymandias. But no one knows it was done by Ozymandias. Because the Watchmen choose not to tell them.
The Watchmen choose not to tell who? The people?
Everyone.
Oh. So why didn't the Watchmen tell?
Because it worked.
Or so
because if they did, then war happens again, and suddenly the common threat is Ozymandias, and that's a common threat that can be destroyed easily.
You know, that's very interesting. Like I like any sort of like art, music, movies. I'm sorry, just like movies or like comics or TV shows that like are a little bit they're different than what you would expect. Like one of my favorite comics or anime comics is One Punch Man because it's like a guy who can defeat people with one punch, but he becomes depressed
because he can only beat them with one punch.
Yeah, and so like I love that concept. So like I think that it's really cool how like I've never really. It almost seems like it ends in a good but bad way.
Exactly. It's ultimately like because it makes the reader ask the question of, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And I love that. And I know, especially, which is another reason why I picked it. Karis likes things where it's like up to you. It's like at the end of the story, it's like, what do you think? You know, and ultimately, my opinion of it is that it worked. Sure, it's a very Machiavellian idea, but the ends justify the means. There was peace. Machiavellian. He was I think he was a philosopher.
Yeah.
And he was very like, people consider him to be like, he's got a kind of like a villainous. He's like pre. This is the best way I can explain it. What is that? What is that house in Harry Potter? Slytherin. He was like pre Slytherin, where it's like I'm like somewhat evil, but ultimately I win, and what I'm saying is correct. Do you know what I mean?
The ends justify the means.
Exactly. That's his whole like. The center of his ideas is like the ends justify the means, which I agree with that in that circumstance, that the ends did justify the means because there was peace. So, you know, I'm not saying go out and kill billions, but I am saying that in that circumstance, that's kind of worth it because at least there was an extinction. So, yeah, first pick.
He wrote, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote The Prince.
Yes, he did.
And it says here that the general theme of The Prince is of accepting that the aims of princes, such as glory and survival, can justify the use of immoral means to achieve those ends. Which is, wow, dang.
Yep. Which, I don't know if he's wrong about that. That's a whole other conversation. We're not getting into old philosophy right now. That's pick number one. We can, but I'm talking about comic books right now. Don't take me off of my comic books.
And then somewhere else.
But I don't have enough to say about Machiavelli.
I know I have some stuff to say.
Okay, go
some wild freaking stuff.
Go ahead.
Some wild freaking stuff.
Go ahead, man.
I'll tell you some wild freaking stuff.
Go ahead. You're so threatening.
No, I know nothing about that. But
that's always the case.
I got
you. Love getting up on your soapbox. And you're like, guys, I know everything about this, and my opinion is correct. And then you're like, never mind. Just gonna disappear.
I have an approximate knowledge of everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
I am a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. Man of clans.
Aziz Ansari.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's
I know a couple of there's some wild people in philosophy made some wild stuff.
They did make some wild stuff. I mean, it's back when we didn't know anything.
Yeah, we were kind of figuring things out.
Yeah. Did you know? I heard this on another podcast. I'm going to give them credit because I'm stealing their idea.
We could steal it and not give them credit.
That's really mean. I like this podcast.
You're right.
I was listening. It's Markiplier's podcast. It's called Distractible. It's really great. Don't listen to it. Listen to ours. Listen to StartOff. Don't listen to Distractible. But yeah, it's he was talking about how back in the day there were scientists who didn't know how sperm worked, so they thought that inside sperm were a tiny, like a billion tiny versions, like if it was a person, in sperm was just a tiny, billions of tiny people that just slowly grew in the mother's womb.
So they didn't know that it connected with the egg.
They knew that, like, obviously, like, sperm gets injected into the womb, it develops, and they thought that just sperm were teeny tiny people who just then developed and grew inside a woman's stomach, which is hilarious because they made the idea of, like, imagine a man that's like, in this bottle we have horse sperm.
Oh my god!
He pours the sperm on his hand.
Oh my
god! And he's like, my hand is now holding 3 billion tiny horses.
What? Dude, that's
hilarious.
so weird.
It's so funny.
That's so weird.
It's hilarious.
Why would anybody want to do that?
Because they didn't know frickin' anything about anything.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, ultimately, like, you can see where they're coming from, kind of. That you're like, it's a tiny thing that grows.
That's always how it is. It's like, we can see kinda, but if you really think about it.
If you squint your eyes a little bit, you can see it.
Thomas Nagel, born in 1917. He was a very influential philosopher. I don't know his birthday. I made that one up. But
I was like, he came prepared.
But
was this the secret?
But Thomas Nagel did propose this one idea called moral luck. Okay. All right. What if you were, you had 10 counts of theft. Like, you stole things 10 times, you were, like, brought into court, and, like, you were just a thief. Like, if a job ever tried to hire you, you were a thief, right? That's what they would see. But imagine if you saved a baby from a burning building, and, like, the president was like, that's amazing, and then he gave you like Medal of Honor or something like that, and then, like, now you're seen as a really good person. But Thomas Nagel would say that you were morally lucky by having that incident happen. You were really a bad person, but in that situation, you got lucky. And then John Locke, I think it's slightly related. He pretty much was saying how, like, this is about the babies. Okay. He's pretty much saying how, like, babies aren't people.
Okay.
So it's really twisted.
It's fucked up.
Essentially, it's like, if a dog runs into the street and causes a traffic accident, you don't take you don't take the dog to jail. You're not like, that dog, he caused that accident, like, he's not tried, right?
Yeah.
And in the same sense, if a 6-month-old baby crawls into the street and causes an accident, you don't take the baby to jail.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not a person just because it's not subject to our judicial system.
Exactly. And so, yeah, no, that's how, like,
I don't like what? No.
Yeah.
That's like saying everyone under the age of 18 that can't be, like, brought before a court of law. Well, I mean, they can, but, like, not before, like, a state judge. That's like saying that they're not people because they can't be they can't be taken before a judge.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
That makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
I was agreeing with what you said.
Okay.
How you think that it doesn't make sense, and I said, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so,
wait, what? I'm so confused.
You said it doesn't make sense, and I agree. I was like, you're right. It makes sense that you think it doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
Like, I understand.
Got it.
I understand you.
Do you? I see you.
Dude, I was literally just thinking that. Oh my gosh, such a great movie. Avatar 3. It could have been an hour shorter, but that's fine.
2, but yeah.
I mean, I just, whoa. James Cameron, I haven't really seen. I'm just saying. But,
have you not seen Avatar 2?
No, 3.
Oh, Avatar 3, great movie. Haven't seen it.
Yeah.
If there ever was a summed up version of every review that Isaiah's ever had of a movie, is that great movie, never seen it. Fight Club, Les Mis.
Never seen it.
Have you seen Les Mis? You haven't seen Les Mis either?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Comic books.
To be fair, I watched a little bit, not a lot. I haven't.
Okay, it's a long movie.
I watched like maybe 11 minutes. Like,
okay, that's nothing. It's nothing. You saw Jean Valjean get, like, whipped once, and you moved on.
I thought it was Russell Crowe.
No.
Who plays the? No, it was Hugh Jackman. That's what it was. Yes.
Russell Crowe is the other. He's the now then 24601.
Yeah.
He's not good in that role.
Yeah.
He's okay.
I was thinking that. I was like,
he's not a good singer either. Don't put him in a musical if he can't sing.
But
they did it with Emma Watson. That's a whole other thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Comic books number 2. Karis, pay attention. Second comic book that I picked out for you because we have a mutual love for one superhero. We've had
Spider-Man.
that love. No. Well, you do love Spider-Man. He's on the list. Iron Fist. We love Iron Fist. Iron Fist is one of the best characters. He's one of my favorite characters in Marvel. So, in that, I picked for you The Immortal Iron Fist, which is a graphic novel series. I don't know who wrote it, so I'm sorry about that. But he, in that comic book, it's a character-driven story about Iron Fist, about what it means to be the Iron Fist and the legacy of the Iron Fist. Each issue opens with past Iron Fists that have been Iron Fists in the past, and in the past. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the mic. In the past. And so, basically, he meets another Iron Fist who was an Iron Fist previously, who is like, it's not everything it's grown up to be. And he's like, what? No, the Iron Fist is great. And he's like, no, it sucks. And it's a guy who like uses guns instead of his actual kung fu stuff. He's actually pretty cool. And it's a really good, probably the best Iron Fist comic. I haven't read it in a long time, so that's why I'm not having as much of a description of it. But yeah, highly recommend it. And I think if you're an Iron Fist fan, definitely a really good place to start with Iron Fist. But if you're looking for more of a cartoony kind of thing, I would do. They rebooted because back in the 60s they had a comic book that was Power Man and Iron Fist, which was Luke Cage and Iron Fist teaming up in a comic book because they were like, both of their books are dying and no one cares about Power Man or Iron Fist. What do we do? And they're like, throw them together. And it's a guy from Harlem who like beats people to a bloody pulp with his bare hands and is bulletproof, mixed with a guy from Kunlun who does kung fu. And there's no way that would work, right? No. You look at that and you're like, absolutely not. And yet, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite comic books. It's fantastic. It's written by a guy named Chris Claremont, who was who ushered in the golden age of X-Men during like the forever. I mean, he wrote X-Men forever, but like especially in the 90s. Yeah, fantastic. And they rebooted it after Civil War 2 because they made a second Civil War in Marvel, or right before, I think. But it's very cartoony. It's very fun. It's much more modern. So yeah, either of those stories I think is a great place to start for Iron Fist. So, dude,
yeah, I see here that you can get the complete collection of Iron Fist.
I have that.
I'm sorry. Oh, nice.
I have that. Yeah.
It's for like $20.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. That's the other thing about comic books is like you can get the entire story or at least most of it, or at least the beginning, because obviously comic books go on for years, but get most of it for like $20, $30.
Also, it says here that the author is David Aja.
David Aja. Okay,
he's
I'm not
a
super familiar
Spanish comic book writer, comic book creator, and illustrator.
Okay, but yeah, he's he does some great work with Iron Fist. He really, more so than anything else, fleshes out what it means to be the Iron Fist and the history of the Iron Fist, which is really, really good. Really, really good.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pick 2. We'll do 3 each because I'm taking a little while. So that's pick 2. But yeah, so we'll move on to 3. Karis. Oh yeah, we didn't do red light or green light. So Watchmen, red light or green light? Green light. Okay, Karis gives a green light. Yes, I'm killing it. Really giving him the hard sell. I just want you guys to read comic books. They're great. Go read them. It's a dying art and it's beautiful. Immortal Iron Fist, red or green? Yellow. Okay, that sucks. It's really good. Read it. I have it. You can borrow it.
Sounds more interesting to me.
Watchmen. Well, yeah, it's the best comic book ever written. It's fair. Which I actually had a guy. Okay, quick tangent. Yeah. I had a guy. I was in a comic book shop with a friend of mine doing literally what I'm doing with you guys right now, where he was like, Matt, I want to get started on comic books. I was like, you got it, buddy. And I brought him to a comic book shop, and I was like, spend $200 on comic books and get started. And he loved it, and it's awesome, and it's super fun. And
He read Iron Fist?
no, he got different picks. These are picks for you guys. I picked stuff for him individually based on what he liked. I did give him Watchmen just because, again, it's kind of like the handbook of comics. It's like, this is what they can be.
Yeah.
It's like a gateway drug.
Which honestly, bro, I kind of hate like.
Comic books.
Well, no. I
this.
actually, one thing that you mentioned like 30 seconds ago was that how like you said that comic books are a dying art, and I would agree. Like, not that they are bad, but that they are an art form that is really awesome for conveying great messages and entertainment. Honestly, that is dying, and I think that there needs to be more of it. Yeah, man, I would really love to probably check out some more comic books, man.
Yeah, I've got 3 picks for you.
All right,
we're getting.
Oh yeah.
I got one more pick for Karis, and I think I'm gonna go with, because I'm trying to decide. I can either give you the dramatic one that I was thinking, or I can give you. I'll let you pick. Dramatic. Okay.
What's the other?
Yeah, I was like, you're right here. The other option.
The other option was going to be like a Spider-Man comic, but it's also like deep rooted and it's interesting. But this Spider-Man comic is more so for like, well, it's not that it's not. It's just there are things that are more like character driven stories than this. Because this is more like what I was going to pitch you is a comic book. I'll just pitch both of you. Who cares? First one is the Spider-Man one we'll start with. It's called Spider-Man Life Story. It's one of the best Spider-Man comics I've ever written, and I've ever read. Help.
We knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, man.
James Bond's having a stroke. I'm a Bondulance. I don't know if y'all see that meme. It's great. But yeah. So it's called Spider-Man Life Story. It's basically where they take Spider-Man from when it was written originally in like I think it's either the 50s or the 60s, or it might have even been the 40s. But it takes it from there and ages Peter Parker as if he aged throughout the years, and has all of the same story stuff happen to him that happens in his like actual canonical story of Peter Parker from the 60s forward. So they go by decades. Like, and it also injects them into modern day, like what would happen. Like, for instance, Captain America goes to Vietnam and he ends up protecting the Viet Cong because he's like, there's no reason for you to be here. Stay away from these people. I am here. You go to them. You go through me. And you're like, holy frick, Captain America's fighting for the Vietnamese. It's really good. Like Flash Thompson dies in Vietnam. It's like the space race, what that would do with Mr. Fantastic in Spider-Man, where he's like, we have to beat the Russians. Spider-Man's like, I don't freaking care. And it's a lens on what it would be like if Peter Parker aged normally and what he would do in those societal contexts.
Interesting.
It's fantastic.
There should be more like that.
They did another one. They did another one with the Fantastic Four. I'm reading that one right now. I didn't pitch that one because I haven't finished reading. I'm reading it right now. But it's really good. It's really freaking good.
Because considering some comic books like Superman, when did that come out? Like the 40s, maybe? Really?
The teens? No, it was like the 30s or 40s. I'm gonna look at that.
Almost coming up on like 100 years.
Yeah, they had the 100th year anniversary of Superman when I think Man of Steel came out, which was like 2010.
Dang. So I guess we can't really do a life story with him because he'd
be dead.
Well, yeah, that's right.
No, he's not immortal. No, there's actually a really good. That's another whole thing. There's a really good superhero story where there's a couple. There's 2 that come to mind, which is All-Star Superman and The Death of Superman, where he dies. Death of Superman was very popular because it was the first ever comic where they were like, "Hey, we're killing Superman, and he's not coming back."
Yeah.
And then they brought him back.
Oh my gosh!
Because that's comic books, baby. They don't change. That is another reason I could go into this whole rant. That's another reason why the comic book genre is dying because they refuse to take risks anymore. Anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, it's really good, especially All Star Superman. He actually dies because that's like kind of like an alternate universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually he gets irradiated and he has cancer.
Like gone.
Yeah, he's dead. He's done.
Oh.
Because he flies too close to the sun, and his cells are irradiated too much, and so the doctor that he's talking to. He's like, your cells are breaking down basically because you've flown so close to the sun and you've got radiation. And he looks at his hand and he's like, yeah, it's like tiny fireworks going off in my hand. What is that? And he's like, you're dying.
Dang.
And I was like, holy crap. And so he does Lois that he's Superman. He establishes like his legacy of like who's going to protect the Earth while he's gone. All this stuff. He has to like decide whether to kill Lex Luthor, whether he can be left alive. It's a whole thing. It's really, really good. So that's another one. That's not a pick for you guys. It's just if you want to read it, it's great. When did Superman first release date?
I'm gonna guess 1922.
That's not the movie.
Let's see it.
First Superman.
Even at my lowest, I still
have?
gotta be Superman.
1938.
Ah, fiddlesticks.
You're close. Well, I know Superman was created as a way to make kids not be afraid of the world ending in World War II. So
okay. Oh,
what were you gonna say?
come on over here.
That's when comic books and Marvel stuff was the most popular.
Yeah, he said
whenever we're going through something.
Yeah. That's
So
facts.
like 9/11, comic book movies really like Iron Man stuff blew up.
Yeah.
And now it's dying off because we're chilling.
I mean, we're not chilling, but
We're chilling-ish, but then like the pandemic, and so I don't know if we're gonna get a different resurgence.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say I haven't seen a commercial that hasn't been about a pandemic in a long time.
Or like
It's not like you've been at home and somebody's in a mask.
yeah. Or like Black Panther came out when there's a bunch of stuff going on like in America and stuff. Mm-hmm. Or like I'm trying to think.
A lot of really influential comic books and stories.
Did Wonder Woman come out probably around like the time of like rights and stuff? Or
Me too.
It was around the time. It was around the same time. Around the Me Too movement, yeah. Yeah, especially Black Panther, because that was when Black Lives Matter really, BLM like was kind of exploding.
Oh.
So, but yeah, there's always been, and that's the thing is like, as with any art, comic books is really able to emphasize a message well. I mean, there's no other real way to say that. I know that's not breaking any new ground, but they're able to emphasize that, but also combine that with actual physical artwork.
Yeah.
Because there's something so striking about seeing an actual, like, hand-drawn, hand-painted panel of someone doing something extraordinarily heroic combined with fantastic writing.
does comics normally come out in chapters, or is it more like
They come out in
volumes?
issues.
As in like a once a month kind of thing, or
Once
like
a month usually.
Okay.
They're usually on a monthly basis. There are some comic books that come out less erratically, but usually, or more erratically, I should say. But usually it comes out in issues that are monthly. So that's why usually a volume is usually about, if you get just a standard volume, it's like 7 to 8 issues, maybe 10 issues at the most. And then if you get like a complete collection, it's usually about like 20, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, so that's Karis. Oh wait, I have one more for you because we said we were going to do Spider-Man and the other one. Spider-Man life story, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Green light?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I got a question.
Yes.
How many volumes or issues is Spider-Man Life Story? Is it a lot?
I want to say 9 or 10. It's not too long.
That's not long?
No. No. That's not long.
Because
There's stuff like I'll say this for the pod. My favorite superhero of all time is Green Lantern. I'm not going to pitch
I did
Green
not
Lantern.
know that.
It's my favorite. I love him so freaking much. Green like superhero, Green
Yeah.
Lantern, superhero like comic book is X-Men. Yeah, those two. But I'm not going to pitch you Green Lantern. Green Lantern is kind of a niche thing. You've kind of got to be like, and there are some comic books that are like Blackest Night, which I don't know. I think you read Blackest Night, didn't you? Yeah. Which is super surprising. I don't know when did I give you Blackest Night?
I don't know, but it's when Batman turns into Green Lantern, right?
No.
Whoa, that's crazy.
No.
Batman turns into Green Lantern?
He doesn't turn into Green Lantern. He gets a Green Lantern ring.
Well, that's turning into the Green Lantern, right?
Yeah.
Green Lantern, there's a Green Lantern Corps, which is like the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
And then there's a Green Lantern, which is like either like Hal Jordan or John Stewart, a couple different people. He turns into a Green Lantern at a point. That's called like, oh gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong. I'm not even gonna say
it.
Google it wrong. Yeah. There's a very famous comic book. It's a what if comic where Batman gets a green will ring and he becomes Green Lantern. But that's not what Blackest Night is. Blackest Night is where this guy named Black Hand is teamed with the god of death, and he teams up with him and starts raising the dead of all these superheroes and their supervillains that they have had to kill. And this is around a time in the comics where they were having to kill villains because they were too dangerous. This is a point where Wonder Woman snapped Maxwell Lord's neck on live television because he was too dangerous, because he can control people.
Dang.
And he can make Superman just destroy the world. So she had to kill him. And it's another thing where it's and justify the means. But with that, you now have we were talking about Superman being around since the 40s. You have from the 40s forward up until this comic that came out in the 2000s of lore of comic book villains and comic book heroes that have died that are now suddenly being resurrected. So you have all these stories that you're pulling off of, and ultimately the comic book is about do we choose life? What do we choose? How do we combat this? What do these superheroes emotionally choose when faced with this? Because the whole thing about the Green Lanterns and the spectrum of rings that they have, because there's the blue ring of hope, the pink ring of love, red ring of rage, one of fear, stuff like that. And so it's on the Blackest Night, which is a thing that's been foretold by the Green Lanterns, they can give out extra rings. So it's the Flash is considered, they're you have the power to instill great hope. Welcome to the Blue Lantern Corps. Wow. And he becomes a Blue Lantern, and he's because his whole thing in the comics is Flash is always all will be well. All will be okay. Everything will be fine. We will beat this.
So Batman does get a ring in Blackest Night.
No,
he does.
Dead.
He's dead?
He's dead.
But it said that I'm not sure if he gets it while he's dead, but it says that he does get it.
He has a black ring.
Oh.
He doesn't get it in Blackest Night because he's dead in Blackest Night. He doesn't come back until after Final Crisis. Don't come at me about this. I know. I think.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm sure.
He doesn't.
I just googled.
He's dead.
When
Batman is dead because this happens after Final Crisis. Final Crisis, he dies because Darkseid kills him.
Next to his mother and father.
And there's a whole thing about because they bring him back as a corpse, and he starts spitting
You said a
out
Black Lantern?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He starts spitting out black rings. You were close, but he's not a Green Lantern.
But he got a ring.
But he's dead. So it's the whole thing is that it's not actually him.
They gave it a green glow.
He's being no, it didn't.
It's a green glow. I'm not sure if that's the same. It's from that.
Oh no! That green glow is not. That's the Green Lanterns around him. That's not his actual. You're looking at the panel. He's a Black Lantern. Look at the thing on his chest.
But
yep.
It is a black ring.
Yeah, he's wearing a black ring. But again, the whole thing is that the black rings are not actually them because they come back and they're monstrous. Because it's Arthur, Aquaman is also dead at this time, and so he wakes up and he's like, I should have killed you, Mera, when I had the chance. I never should have had my children with you. And he's just saying awful things.
Dang.
And yeah, it's awful. And so Batman comes back and everybody's like, oh my God, Batman's back from the dead. And the whole thing is that these black rings are just animated corpses.
Oh,
they're not actually the people. So at the end, it's this huge event because at the end they bring back all of these people by a white lantern, which is the white entity or something like that.
Like life?
Yeah, basically life. And that's the whole thing that the Black Lanterns and Necron, who is the head of the black people, the Black Lanterns.
I knew what you meant.
The head of the Black Lanterns is because he's the god of death. He's my whole thing is that I want to kill life so that death can reign supreme. Yada yada yada. Very superhero thing. And so they give him. They discover a white lantern, And so they all get white rings. So like all the people that have died previously and come back because they were like, we chose life. We could have stayed dead. We could have stayed peaceful. We chose life so we can be here to frick you over. Dang. And so they're like, holy frick. Dang. Oh my God. And so like Superman gets a white ring. Green Lantern, Flash, Green Arrow, Wonder Girl, Superboy, all these people that have died. And then at the end, they're like, the like life entity is like, starts saying names, and you're like, what does this mean? What is this? What is this? And they're like, it's like Arthur Curry of Earth, which is Aquaman, John Jones of Mars, Martian Manhunter. He doesn't say Batman, which is interesting. Firestorm, all these people that have died, and then it just says it says live, and all of them are back to life.
Dang.
And you're like, holy crap! And it's so good. It's fantastic. That's not a pick. Again, this is not on the list. This is just a tangent. It's really freaking good. Anyways, last pick for Karis. I'm going to make this quick because I still have to do Isaiah.
I thought that was a really thick Kit Kat.
This?
Yeah. That's what I had. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm hungry.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm. But okay, last pick for you. I'm gonna make this a simple one. Have you read? I'm going between two. Yeah, no. We'll go with this one. The Dark Knight Returns. Okay, it's a Batman comic. I was flipping between this and V for Vendetta, but I think Dark Knight Returns is more. For an intro to comic books, better. The Dark Knight Returns is about Batman comes back after retirement. He retires officially. And it's this whole thing about what everyone has always thought about Batman, which is... And Batman before the Dark Knight Returns was very comic booky in the sense that it was very like fun and it was like, I'm fighting the Riddler today. And it's like, it's very cartoony. Yeah. This was the first like... extraordinarily grounded and like real Batman story. So it did gangbusters. Everybody loved it. It's about Batman retires and he leaves Gotham and Gotham becomes a cesspool, obviously, because it's Gotham.
Yeah.
And so they've got these this gang called the Mutants who are taking over this like basically taking over the Gotham, and there's like an army of them.
Dang.
And they're just doing whatever they want.
Like the X-Men?
No.
Oh.
They're just called the Mutants.
Like
yeah.
They're just called Mutants. It's like the gang, but they're just people that look weird. And so Batman's like just sitting in it. He's just like, I did my time. I'm done.
Dang.
I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And everybody's like, come on. Where's the Batman? We need the Batman back. We need him back. Everything's bad. We need him back. And eventually he's like, it's like, cause it's like a drug addiction for him.
Yeah.
It's like, I need this.
Yeah.
The adrenaline rush, the fact that these people actually need me mixed together means that this is a volatile thing that's probably going to kill me if I continue to do it, but I've got to do it for the sake of the people around me. So he becomes Batman again. And he comes back out of retirement and he's really old. And this is during a time when superheroes were considered like, we don't need you anymore. They were like, we have like armies, we have stuff, we don't need you. Superman had been, it was like kind of like what Marvel Comics did with Civil War, but it was like Superman is now part of like the United States military. Yeah. He's not like doing his own thing. He's fighting for truth and justice and the American way. American. And so at the end of the comic, because Batman's like brings everybody back, he defeats in like open combat. He's like, you mutant leader, come at me. And he defeats him. And so now he's like, hey mutants, I beat your main guy. Now you listen to me. And so all the mutants are like, yup, we're Batman people. Let's go. And so now he's got an army. And so now he's like, clean up the streets, go. And so everybody just floods. They clean up the streets. Anybody who doesn't listen to Batman gets taken down. And so he's like, and I can't remember if the mutants are like killing people, but they're definitely like fricking him up. And people are like, you can't do this. This is not okay. You can't just have vigilante justice running amok. And it's like, okay, the cops weren't doing it. What did you want me to do? I fixed your problem. Yeah. And so they're like, hey, Superman, handle it. And so Batman fights Superman, and that's where the actual Batman v Superman movie kind of picked that off of. Like the actual armor that Batman wears is from The Dark Knight Returns, or at least inspired by it.
Batman Returns or The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. And so, yeah, he fights him, and then he ends up having to go into hiding because, well, they think he's dead. They think that Superman killed him. And then it turns out that he's actually still alive, but he's just gone underground because he's like, all right, well, all you Bat people, we're going to continue fighting for Gotham, but we're just going to do it a little quieter.
Yeah.
But yeah, freaking fantastic.
All right.
Really
so,
good.
I mean, I guess he got his goal in the first place because he didn't really want to be like the like protector of Gotham anymore in the first place, right? He just kind of was just like,
It's not that he didn't want to; it's that he can't, because if he continues to, it will kill him.
well, yeah, that's. I mean, it's gonna happen anyways.
Well, no, I mean he can live a quiet life and move on. But if he's
That's
Batman,
true.
and if he continues to be Batman, it's also the fact that he's like basically addicted to being Batman, and that him being Batman at that advanced of an age is going to kill him.
Oh yeah.
So
how old was he? Probably like 50s.
He's like 50s or 60s. He's older.
Yeah, that's ancient.
Yep, he's pretty old. And especially for doing what he was doing, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, buddy, take a nap.
So
Yeah.
I just lifted like some 20-pound dumbbells and like I'm like, man, I want a nap right now.
Imagine fighting a 600-pound mutant of an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, green light, red light, yellow light.
Green.
Green? Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Sweet. So, you going to order these comics today, or...
The Spider-Man one sounds interesting.
That's the only one?
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Gosh darn it. That's it? I want all
Matt.
of them. I want you to get all of them.
I have a request.
You do.
So it's very possible that whatever you say, I will actually read.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say to just not say like the ending of it.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I've kind of given you the ending, but that's kind of like...
I'm fine.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
But honestly, I may read it. You know,
Yeah, sure.
if you're catering a comic to me, the least I can do is read it. So like, you know.
Well, no, you don't. Okay, I'm going to put that out there. Do not feel obligated to read it just because I did this for you.
But
No.
But-
I can bring him later. Yeah. I don't own Spider-Man Life Story. I read that digitally. I've been trying to buy it, but again, it's just, I have a lot of comics to get through, and I'm trying to get the rare ones now because those are the ones that are the most expensive. And I got to get through those. But yeah, I'll bring you, I think I have a copy of Watchmen, and I'll bring you, The Dark Knight Returns. Yep.
But I'm just saying that at least be I
won't give you the ending.
worth looking into.
Worth
at least.
looking into. Okay. Well, so now we're switching over to Isaiah. We're done with Karis. Karis has been. We're at an hour. Okay. I'll try to wrap this up. This might be a little longer than usual. What time is it?
It's 11:30.
Okay. You guys want to do a part 2?
We can do part 2.
Okay.
I'm down.
We'll do a part 2.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do another part 2 where I pitch it for Isaiah because I can take a little bit more time. I know what I'm going to pitch you, but I also want to make sure now because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I should probably pitch you comics that I have so you can read them.
Well, I mean, yeah. That would be nice, but like
A lot of these, I've like, because here's my tale of woe, and then we'll end it on this.
Yeah.
I had to sell my entire comic book collection. Not the one that I currently have, but the one that I had and that I had been collecting since I was like 14, maybe. Probably earlier than that. When did we go to the mall for my birthday? That one time where we almost bought a night, Karis.
Were we like 16?
16?
Were we?
I don't remember. That was my first. That was the time that I bought my first comic.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe 14.
we had to be pretty young. So yeah, probably like 14 or 15. And I've been reading comics before that. I just didn't own any because I just go to the library and be like, "Ooh, comic book." But that's when I really kind of got into it. For reference, I'm 24. So I collected those over the course of about half a decade. And I had an entire, like, probably as long as this table stack of volumes, probably both tables, of comic books because I'm a volume man or a collection man. I'm not an issue kind of guy. I had to afford food. I had to. I made mistakes. I really did. Well, it was at a point where I was kind of like, I'm not really as much into comics as I was before. I don't really read them at this point, and I'm not getting any new ones. So I'm like, might as well just sell them. And then I was like, I made such a horrible mistake, but I needed to pay rent. Like I had to, it was either that or not pay rent. And I'd already sold my Xbox. It was a tough time in my life. But we got through it. I no longer have to do that. And I did have to re-buy a lot of comic books that I had. So I had a copy of Watchmen, and I had a copy of Immortal Iron Fist. It's just how I read it. I just don't have it currently anymore because those are some ones that I had to sell. Yeah. But I rebought Dark Knight Rises. I haven't rebought a copy of Watchmen just because it's like, again, it's kind of the handbook of comic books, so it's everywhere. But it's like, I've already read this. But yeah, I'll get those to y'all.
All right.
Isaiah, do you want to give us a prayer? Oh, thank you guys so much. I'm sorry that it was mainly just me talking to this podcast.
No. Yeah, man.
Apparently y'all liked that last time when I talked about comic books, so hope you like this one. So Isaiah, you want to give us a prayer and get us out of here?
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for just this wonderful day that you've blessed us with. Heavenly Father, I just pray that you'll just bless everyone who's listening to this and hearing this, and we just ask that you'll just guide their steps and to just show them your purpose for them and to just give them peace. In Jesus' mighty name do we pray. Amen.
Amen. I also want to put out a brief warning. I probably should have done this before I gave you these. Some of the comic books that I have pitched to you have sensitive material. So, again, for like younger viewers or anybody, talk to your parents before you get any comic books. See if it's cool with them. Don't just be like, Matt from StartOff told me to read this, because there's some sensitive things, especially in Watchmen. So yeah. Thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next week. See you next week, Isaiah.
All right, see you next week, man.